Hello everyone, Tommy Marquez here inside the Update Studio for some continued coverage leading up to the CrossFit Games. And Patrick Vellner is the third fittest man on the planet, and he's heading back to his second games now in Madison in August after finishing second at the 2017 East Regional. And he joins me now via Skype. Patrick, thank you so much for joining me today.
Always a pleasure, Tommy.
So we're about a month removed from regionals or so. Looking back at your performance there, was there anything you learned from that performance in particular, or any big takeaways?
I had a pretty good regional performance. I liked being in the first week. I think as far as preparation goes, it's more similar to being at the games in the sense that you have a little less time to prep and you don't get to watch other people do it first. You just have to go and see what works and try to figure it out on your own. So I like that. I think I was happy to see that the scores in the East hung around fairly well and stacked up well across the 3 weeks of regionals. So that's always a good sign. And it was fun. It was fun to finish early and just be a spectator for a couple more weeks and watch the other guys go at it and see what changes in a year and see who was showing up this year and who the new guys were. And it was a lot of fun. I love regional time of year.
And so looking at your training right now that you're preparing for the unknown in Madison, what things are you kind of focusing on, maybe skill or capacity-wise, or you're mixing into your training?
Right now, I'd say primarily the main difference is we mix in a lot more strongman type stuff, just sort of grunt work, moving odd objects, lots of that stuff. Because I feel like generally that's the main difference at the games versus the regionals or the open is that those are those unknown elements. And I think the more random elements you can expose yourself to, the more likelihood there is that when you get to the games and they announce something new, you've done something at least a little bit similar to that. That'll help you strategize. So a lot more of that, and then just building your capacity and running and swimming again and getting all that stuff back where it needs to be. By the time regionals is done, everyone's CrossFit is pretty good. So it's more just filling in those blanks.
And so a lot of the focus goes on to what actually happens on the competition floor at the games, but it seems like the whole process of being an athlete is much more complex. So what's maybe a little tidbit of wisdom or a little nuance about the whole process that maybe you learned last year that you're taking with you this year?
I mean, one thing right away is that it's going to be a little different. Obviously, with it being in Madison versus Carson, I think everyone's got to be prepared for the fact that you might not. Your general, those guys who've been at the games for 6 years or something like that, things might be a little different. So you've got to roll with the punches a bit, and be prepared for hiccups and bumps in the road. But I think just a good tidbit is that the more things you can take off your own plate, the better. So the more you can delegate tasks or have people that are trying to help you eat or help you do whatever, and then you can just focus on your performance and stay sharp for what you need to do, the better off you're going to be, I think.
And so last question here. As the names were being announced as the qualifiers at the 2017 East Regional, you had what I can only describe as an awkward high five / head bop with Matt Fraser. Did you plan that? Was that something you were planning to do, or is that just kind of spur of the moment?
No, it was kind of off the cuff there right at the time. I figured I gave him a little face palm, bring him down to earth a little bit. I got to try to make him seem human if I'm going to try to beat him.
Well, right on. Well, thanks again for joining me today, man. We'll catch up with you in Madison soon. Best of luck.
Of course. Take care, guys.
Patrick Vellner hoping to repeat his podium performance from 2016. You can catch all of the games action as well as all of our continued coverage leading up to the games at games.crossfit.com.